What's up, Taurus? Welcome to your September 2020 Creativity Tarot reading. My name is Kaylee Jean, and welcome to my channel. I record these readings for artists, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is working on their personal growth, self-expression, or spirituality in any form. So if those areas of life are intriguing or important for you, I encourage you to go ahead and keep listening. I also always like to say, in case you're new here, you can use these readings for your sun, moon, or your rising sign, and it's also possible if sometimes they don't resonate because these are just general readings. So I encourage you to come back though at the end of the month and see, what themes may have actually connected more than you expected. That's always something that I tend to hear back from people. Okay, Taurus, while I was tuning in for you, I was just getting this very strong vision and a very strong energy of liveliness. And the way that it was shown to me at first was like some kind of like I was seeing actually like a woman in a room, but of course this is for all Taurians out there, all my Taurians. I was seeing a woman in a room and it was black and white, and then she leaned down to kind of light some incense, or it was maybe almost like a stick, like maybe a piece of wood, like Palo Santo is what it's looking like to me. But anyway, she's like lighting something in an incense dish, and then like the smoke kind of comes up, and then it's just almost like this really beautiful, like as if somebody started coloring the black and white film, and it just everything starts to become just vivid and colorful and beautiful and just vivacious. There's just a very strong energy with this of some life being breathed into your surroundings, perhaps, Taurus. You could be redecorating maybe, or you could be just feeling very creative and very inspired by a new idea or a new project, or maybe even just working with color, because so much about that meditation vision has to do with, bringing color into a black and white reality. It's like you're bringing in this, this connection, I guess, with color and with the vibration, I guess, of color and the vibration that comes along with, just seeing things in a different way, perhaps, or in a more aesthetically pleasing way. So this could be about yourself. You could be feeling more attractive, or you could be feeling like your surroundings are more attractive or just full of life in some way. And I really feel like it's going to be to your advantage to just indulge in this, Taurus, and embellish it and relish in it. And just, whichever area of life this is showing up in for you, I think it's important for you to just embrace that and really go along with it and just kind of run with it, because you can increase it, really. And I think it's just going to pay off in terms of making your life just more interesting and pleasing to you in many ways. So that was the energy for you for the month of September in the meditation. Let's take a look at your tarot cards and we'll get some more information. Taurus. Clear, loving guidance for Taurus, Holy Spirit. I was just seeing light flickering on something that was carved into a wall, almost like hieroglyphics or something like that. It was really interesting, very striking. Okay, and pull your oracles now as well, Taurus. Get your Bob Ross oracle, and I'm also going to get you a surrender card. And we'll get your Sacred Destiny Oracle card as well. Okay, so let's take a look. So we've got the unicorn as your path and the moth as the influence or obstacle. This is a really interesting draw. In the one sense, obviously with the unicorn card, it's one of the mystical creatures in this deck, and it pertains to the third eye, of course. So there is a sense of really trusting your creative vision when that card comes up. And because it's coming up in your path, I want to say that it almost feels like you are contemplating doing something really unusual, right? Like unicorn symbolism obviously is about just being very unique, being yourself, and just following and trusting your own vision in a very quirky and lighthearted manner. So when we see that card as your path, and then you have the moth as the obstacle, the moth is drawn to the light, right? That's what we see illustrated in this card. But it's also a creature that has kind of a strange beauty to it. People tend to talk about butterflies a lot more than they talk about moths. One of you guys on my channel before said that moths are the butterflies of the moon, which I thought was really beautiful and profound. And so when I look at this, though, it is really about embracing strange beauty, embracing beauty that is in unusual places, and not being afraid to just kind of be weird. Even, like, let's say you want to just, I don't know, cut your hair super short if you have always had long hair, or you want to just make some kind of radical change, and somebody close to you is like, I don't know, like, you might regret that, Taurus. I feel almost like this energy right now is really about just trusting your desires for change and trusting your artistic eye. I think it's really important that you give yourself license right now to do things differently. And it makes sense, actually, now that I'm thinking about it astrologically, because we do have Uranus in your sign, which is a long transit, but still, when Uranus is in your sign, it is about liberating yourself. It is about becoming free in your self-expression and really uncovering the spontaneous side of you. So I do think that that's really the message here. It's going to be a consistent, I guess, I don't want to say challenge, but it's going to be a consistent theme for you to continually trust what you like, Taurus, even if you don't necessarily have the outside validation for that, because I think you're kind of ahead of the curve on this one. I think you are, honestly, when I look at this, I feel like you have like a vision that other people right now are maybe like, I don't know about that, Taurus, but once they actually see it and they get used to it, they're going to be like, wow, that was the right choice. They're going to have to admit it. They're going to be like, okay, yeah, you called it on that one. So I think that's kind of the message for you, Taurus. Let's go ahead and take a look at your tarot spread. So we've got Seven of Swords, yep. Queen of Wands, Two of Swords, Temperance, wow. Ten of Cups, Two of Wands, Two of Cups, Five of Swords. Interesting. So there's something going on with a Sagittarius. I don't normally do readings about love, there's plenty of channels for that. I focus more on entrepreneurs and creators. And that's also just like what tends to flow through me. But when I look at this, there could be something going on with a Sagittarius person, whether it's a romantic thing or maybe a business relationship or a partnership, or maybe if you have Sagittarius in your chart, Taurus, then this could also be like, let's say if you're a Taurus sun, but you have a Sagittarius rising or something like that, or a Sagittarius moon and a Taurus sun, or Taurus rising and a Sagittarius sun, you get my point. Then it could be also pointing to like a push-pull or a tug-of-war that's going on within you. So just keep that in mind as I talk about this symbolism. The first week of September, we have the Queen of Wands with the Seven of Swords. So there's something that you are needing to protect, or there's something that you're needing to hide. And I use those words protect and hide intentionally because sometimes they are the same thing. Not every situation in which we are hiding something is negative. Sometimes, like, let's say if we're working on a manuscript or a creative work of some kind, we need to hold it back, until we're ready to share it, until we've made it as good as we can possibly make it, before we send it off to someone else to edit it or to begin the process of publishing it, etc. So there could be something that you are working on, Taurus, that you haven't worked out all the kinks yet. And I think that in order for you to continue productively along this new path, it may be required for you right now to work in the shadows a little bit, to fit things in where you can. Maybe you're not quitting a job, but you are taking 30 minutes or 2 hours, after work, or, 3 hours on a weekend day to, dive into a project that is just for you, and that you're not broadcasting out to the world. That could be one way of looking at this. Another way that we could look at this is like you are needing to be specific about what kind of information you share with a friend or a coworker or with a business partner, because you have the Seven of Swords with the Queen of Wands. So I think there is something that you need in terms of finding, I guess this path gives you a little bit more independence somehow, Taurus, like the path that you're taking right now gives you more independence. But I think that you are in a position where you almost need to kind of create space, like some sort of space between you and someone else, or you have to be careful about what you talk about for some reason. So I don't know if this is ringing any bells for anyone. It could be with a fire sign person or specifically a Sagittarius, but I feel like if this person tends to like talk a lot, then maybe it would be best to just let them focus on other things other than like the thing that you're doing. Because if they tend to kind of spread around information, or if they tend to kind of get involved, like really involved in things, you might just not really need that right now. And I think that is a theme that kind of continues over into the second week of the month, because you have the Two of Swords and Temperance. So Temperance is the Sagittarius card, and for me, so is the Queen of Wands. These are both Sagittarius cards for me. So again, we have this theme of like holding something back potentially, and from the Sagittarius energy. And again, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily being like deceitful or anything like that. Sometimes we just have to be conscious about what we are communicating. Like if we have a path that is at the very beginning and onset, right? If it's a little seedling and it can be trampled on so easily, we just have to create some boundaries around that. So that could be the case. If you have like a Sagittarius or a fire sign friend that tends to be very strong in their opinions about things that you're doing, it might be just about, okay, yeah, I'm just not going to talk about this right now. But you will, at some point. It's not like a never thing. It's just a need for privacy right now for you, so that you can figure out how you really feel or what you really want, or you can make something as good as it can possibly be without any distractions. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here. Another way that we could look at this is that in the second week of September, we have this energy of patience for you. If taking out the whole Sagittarius friend or fire sign friend thing that I talked about, this pair of cards could be saying, the second week of September, you're going through an inner alchemy, right? Like Temperance is the alchemy card, and the Two of Swords is the inward seeking. So you're going through some kind of inner transformation in the second week of September, and it's important that you just kind of allow yourself to be in that place and to be aware of what is changing within you, to monitor those like subtle shifts that are going on. And maybe you're going deeper into an area of study as well. So you need quiet. Like maybe you need to have a little bit more of a hermit type of lifestyle in that second week of September, because you're percolating a lot. You're deepening your understanding, and you're getting in touch with your will to achieve, your will to manifest, your will to go through transformations and come out of them improved, come out of them expanded and more aware and wiser. So there's definitely some very creative energies, but also very quiet energies around you in that second week of September. Whereas the first week of September, you could be feeling pretty creative, right? I mean, we have a full moon that week in Pisces, which for you is your 11th house. So that's, it's your friendships, your colleagues, it's your network, it's how you get the support you need to get things done in the world. So you could definitely be feeling kind of some shifts in that area of your life, in your network, and in terms of who you place trust and who you, I guess, continuously and habitually hold space with, especially from like more of a career perspective. There could be some big shifts that you are preparing yourself for, Taurus. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. And I think the overarching theme that we've seen so far is that you are being asked to trust your unique, weird, kooky vision over the perhaps more confident seeming, fiery beliefs and convictions of someone else around you or someone that you look up to. It's like, yeah, that's great. That's great. That's great. But I'm still going to do this. I'm still going to do this. That's great for you. That's great for that person. But for me, I can feel something different brewing. For me, I know this is a different path that is expanding before me. So there's a peace and an acceptance in that. So that's kind of where you are in terms of your creative journey. I think your first half of September is really related to those themes, and we see those repeated, in those 2 weeks. The third week brings in a little bit of a different energy. So it seems like there could be some kind of finishing going on, like some kind of completion of something within your family. So somebody in your family could be graduating, or someone could be getting married. I do get the sense of like decisions being made in relation to your family, either your family of creation, right, the person you married or the kids you have, or your family of origin, like your parents, siblings, that kind of thing. I feel like there's like something that is being finished, achieved, accomplished. There's a sense of completion, which is also a fresh start, and it's within your family. It may pertain to you specifically, Taurus, or it could be something that you're celebrating for someone else. But in that third week of September, it's kind of like a marking point. I feel there's a sense of an accomplishment happening, and that you're all as a group now going to be moving into a new chapter as a family. So maybe somebody's moving out, somebody's moving in, someone's getting married, like I said, someone's graduating. Something kind of big is happening when it comes to like the cycles that tend to characterize the chapters of our lives and, who we spend them with. And I think you're going to be, whether or not like the celebration is directly related to you, Taurus, I think it's going to be causing you to reflect on like your decisions and your plans and your strategies for life, and like what you really want to achieve or move towards at this point. Maybe you've always taken care of like a younger sibling, for example, and now they're all grown up and they're graduating and they're going off to get a job, or they're just kind of individuating. And so it frees up more of your time, or it gives you this open space now where even on a spiritual level, you're looking at it and you're like, okay, you know, this person I love dearly is achieving a new level of independence, which gives me a new level of space in my life. So what am I going to do with that? You know, it's a blank canvas. So it's kind of the energy that I get, and, you know, obviously apply that to your own situation in whatever way it makes sense. The 4th week of September, we have the 2 of Cups and the 5 of Swords. So there could be a little bit of like sparring going on within a personal relationship or perhaps a business relationship. The way to work through this, I'm going to say, Taurus, is to be very specific about whatever like issues are coming up. So for example, like when we see these 2 cards together, it could be like one partner is saying, God, I feel like you never greet me. You know, I feel like you always skip over me when you get home. You just don't even acknowledge my presence. Like I feel so rejected by you, or I've always felt so overlooked by you. That might be true. That might be a true sentiment, right? Like if you felt that way. But it's maybe not necessarily the best way of communicating that in that moment. Because if you were to say instead like something like, oh, I really appreciate when you spend time with me at the very end of the night. You know, once we've done all our stuff, I really appreciate the face-to-face time I get with you. And I just wish that we could interact with each other in a more affectionate way, like earlier than that. Or I wish that we could be a little bit more, you have to kind of tell people what you want. And I'm not saying you are asking for this, Taurus. I'm just saying like if somebody could be asking you this, or, you know, there could be any number of situations, but it's more like there's going to be conflicting perspectives or desires between you and another person. And the point is just not to label that person as bad or difficult. The point is just to specifically ask for what you desire in a very kind way, while acknowledging that the other person is probably doing their best with like what they have. And you kind of have to work with people over time to improve relationships. Like it's not reasonable to ask somebody to completely change after you have one argument with them, right? Or after you have like one disagreement. It's generally speaking a process in which you both are kind of, if it's a personal relationship, you're both kind of training each other on how to make each other happy, or how to make each other feel good, because everybody has a different love language. So it's like you're teaching the other person how to communicate with you in effective ways, and they're doing the same thing to you. So you learn to kind of speak the other person's language. You learn to kind of embrace the eccentricities and idiosyncrasies of that individual, and you don't expect perfection, but you really look at them as like a whole person. And then if you do see some kind of behavior that you would like to have shifted, it's like narrowing it down to that very specific thing rather than saying you're bad, you know? So that's kind of what I get as like a tip for you in that last week of September. And I don't think this is going to be a huge deal. I just think that if you get this reading and you're listening to this and you remember this, then it's going to make that week easier on you. Okay. Your surrender card is surrender to effortlessness. Whew. That is so nice. It says, stop pushing so hard. Stop pushing so hard, Taurus. The art of living means going with the flow instead of trying to force the river. That is good. And your Sacred Destiny Oracle card is Wisdom. It's so beautiful. And your Bob Ross message. Let's get crazy. What the heck? Take out a 2-inch brush. This is your bravery test. So, when we bring all of these together, what I personally get is the surprising wisdom that can come out of us when we're just being spontaneous. This is what the Zen masters, I think, were, trying to teach people, is like, out of the void, out of the unconditioned consciousness comes, sometimes crazy wisdom that you're not expecting. So this is about trusting yourself to really just be in the flow. Surrender to the idea that you don't have to plan every little action of your day, but that you can set like some sort of a framework and then let yourself move through that framework with intention, letting things happen. That's what I get for you, Taurus. I hope that was helpful for someone out there. Looks like it's going to be a good month, I have to say. So I hope this reading is beneficial for you. I'm sending you tons of love and light. If you want to let me know that you enjoyed this reading, please leave me a little heart emoji in the comments below. I would absolutely love to see that from you guys, and it's super helpful for my channel as well. You can also give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to notifications as well so you will never miss a video. Sending you tons of love and gratitude. Thank you so much for being here, Taurus, and I will be wishing you an amazing month. Bye.